While browsing through the internet and thinking about what to do next for my practice diary, I decided to practice my improvisation over a 1-5-6-4 chord progression. I decided to practice with this chord progression because it's one of the most common chord progressions in pop music. My current goals are to get better in my improvisation with 16 notes and maybe get a little bit faster, and understanding that chord progression better and maybe come up with better melodic ideas. It's nothing new for me. I already practiced this chord progression, but this time I want to approach it a little bit different, and maybe my understanding will grow with practicing this for 2 weeks. So I prepared the backing track in my DAW. Nothing really special, just a C major, G major, A minor and F major chord. Day 1. So I started with setting a timer on my mobile phone. The speed on the backing track is set to 60 BPM. I started an endless solo in 16 notes only with picking, no hammer-ons, slides, bendings or whatsoever. And while doing it I completely stay diatonic. And when I have done a mistake I just try to stay in the 16 notes in my head and just keep on going. And I just try not to interrupt the endless solo. And after that I set a new timer on my mobile phone and started the same thing with 16 triplets. After watching my video and seeing me practicing, especially in the time lapse, so I maybe got some ideas how to approach this a little bit different in the next few days. Second day. Again, setting the timer, increasing the speed, and starting with the 16 triplets. And after that, back to 16 notes. After that day, I just realized that my approach is a little bit different than planned. I made this more a technical exercise and not making that melodic approach like I planned before. So I decided to do the technical approach on this one and plan my next videos a little bit better. Day 3 and 4. So I went up with the tempo from 70 to 75, and on day 4 from 75 to 80. And on the second go, doing the 16 triplets, I decided to change the rhythm every bar. 1 bar 16 notes, 1 bar 16 triplets. While practicing, I realized that I started to connect the scales a little bit different than before. I will try to visualize it. At the moment, while improvising, I'm a more, let's say, box-shaped thinker. I know how to play my scales, but the biggest problem on this one is that I try to connect box for box, and instead of seeing the whole scale in my inner eye. And actually, that was a thing that was bothering me a long time. And now I found maybe a better way now to improve this and maybe try to express myself better on the fretboard and maybe get better. Day 5 and 6. So I decided to practice in the key of D major to get out of my comfort zone. Set the timer and started the day with 80 beats per minute. So the 16 notes and 80 tempo, I'm not doing well. At 80 beats per minute, I'm playing pretty sloppy and I have to go down with the tempo the next few days. And as expected, trying to get out of my box-shaped thinking, I'm having a little bit of trouble connecting the dots in my head in D major. But I'm pretty sure that the next few days will show a little bit of progress. Day 7 and 8. So the last days I was feeling a little bit uncomfortable. So I decided to go down with the tempo. But the mistake I made on day 7 is that I stayed with the 16 triplets on 65 BPM. I should go down to 60. So I went down with the tempo on the 8th day with the 16 notes from 80 to 75 and with the 16 triplets down to 60 again, because I wasn't still satisfied. Day 9 and 10. On day 9 I felt really lucky. So I decided to crank up the beats per minute for the 16 notes up to 90. With the 16 notes, I only cranked up the tempo with 5 to 65. And on day 10, I went up with each exercise just up 5 BPMs. Day 11. And again, I decided to practice another key, and this time it's A major. While practicing in the mode of A major, I realized that I have to go down with the tempo a little bit. I realized that I have to practice A major a little bit more to get more comfortable with it. The problem at the moment with that key is that I'm starting to fall into my old behavior and starting to think again in boxes, but with a little bit practice I think that will go away. Day 12 and 13 and my conclusion. While practicing the 16 notes on day 12 with a tempo of 85, it kinda clicked on day 13 and I managed to crank up the tempo to 90. But the 16 triplets are another thing and I decided to stay with the tempo on day 12 and 13 only on 65 beats per minute. So I realized in my conclusion that I have to change things a little bit up for the next video and maybe try a different approach. My technique with the 16 notes and 16 triplets got a little bit better. But that wasn't actually the point when I started this video. I wanted to improve melodic wise. So there will be definitely a part 2. And I will definitely start a new approach on planning, practicing and making those practice diaries. I hope you enjoyed this video. And if you got any suggestions or constructive criticism and maybe what to practice next, feel free to leave a comment. So see you next time. Thank you.